Welcome back to Morning Express. We're glad you're watching. 20th of January 2014. I'm Sophia Wanuna. It is the show that has got your morning covered. Remember, at the top of the hour, we promised we'd be talking to Miss South Sudan, Kenya. Of course, we all know what has been going on in South Sudan. Estimates now indicate that about 10,000 people have been killed by the violence there, and we want to catch up with a beautiful lady to just understand about what she thinks, what's going on in her country, and of course also her efforts in her new crown as Miss South Sudan, Kenya. Good morning.
Good morning.
It is Akwan Ayuan.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful name.
Thank you.
Yeah, what does it mean?
Kwan means the chosen one. Yeah, but literally, when we say it means picking something, but it actually means the chosen one, but most people think it's picking something.
Yeah. So it means the chosen one in which language?
In our language.
Okay.
Which is Dinkabor.
Dinkabor.
Yeah.
And Ayuan?
Ayuan is my father's name. It's actually like a prophet or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You're beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you for being part of our show today. Let us say our studio. Anyway, welcome and happy New Year. I'm telling all my guests this January, happy New Year. But you said you were in South Sudan.
Yeah, I was
when the violence started. Tell us about that.
We actually went on a Thursday, the week where all this happened. We were supposed to go to Bor on Sunday when this erupted. I went with my younger brothers. They've never been to South Sudan. That was their first time. So it was something challenging and something, So we went and we were supposed to, as I said, we were supposed to go to South Sudan, Bor. When all this happened, it was at night. We could hear gunshots. We could hear people screaming. We could hear these bombs and all that. So it was a very tragic experience that occurred, knowing that my young brothers, so it was like their first time, so they're like traumatized, never been to their country, and they come to their country and this happens. So it was really traumatic.
Wow. And how long did you stay there for?
We stayed for about 2 weeks. Yeah. Then we came back. We were supposed to stay for the whole month of the Christmas. Yeah.
Okay. So 2 weeks. How are those 2 weeks, in total? Because the violence has broken out. There's so much fear, concern. Your brothers, their first time, as you've said.
Yeah.
It must have been traumatic in general, just being there for that long.
It was so traumatic.
Yeah.
So we were actually finding ways to come back, because my mom is the only one taking care of us. So for her it was actually hard, because she was so excited to take us to South Sudan, take us to our village and all that, and then all this happened. So as my view is that our people should actually come together and stop this thing. So for my brothers it was actually traumatizing, and for myself as well. I was so excited and planned it for it actually, but all this happened. So it was
and it's coming just not too long after it became a nation, the youngest nation, and with that came a lot of hope, a lot of excitement that things would turn around for the good. For you and many, of course, of your relatives and friends still in South Sudan, what does this do to the psyche? What does this do to the dreams and aspirations for your country?
Most of the youth are in separate countries. Others are in Kenya, others are in Australia, others are abroad, as I say. So many of us have dreams to go back to our country and build it, but these dreams are distorted by this violence that's happening. So most of us, we actually dream of building our country, but as we see what's happening, it's setting us back, setting us back to where we started. We're like starting from scratch and all that, So our hopes are actually distorted. We try as much to have hope, but whatever is going on, it's actually traumatizing us, Yeah.
Okay. You were born in Kenya.
Yeah, I was born in Kenya.
You've lived in Kenya most of your life. So how has that been? Because to live outside your country and to watch all, there was civil war before that, to watch that unfold. How has that experience been?
Kenya is like my second home. I grew up in Kenya. They're actually hosting us good. So I see Kenya is actually a developed country, and I look back at country. I see we're kind of developing, but we need this experience. We need to come. We need to see how Kenya is developing, so that we can go back to our country and also work to develop our country.
Okay. All right. And your Miss South Sudan Kenya. First, the fact that there's Kenya at the end, that means it's South Sudan Kenya chapter. How is it? Explain it to us.
It's actually good. The experience was actually lovely. I had a great time.
When did the pageant begin, and what informed you to set up such a pageant? Because it was done here in Kenya.
Yeah, it was done in Kenya. I actually saw it on Facebook. My friend actually psyched me up to do it. I wasn't actually gonna do it, but people keep on telling me you should try it and all that. So I went for it, and here I am.
Yes, that was last year.
That was last year in August.
Okay. Yeah. So as a Miss South Sudan Kenya, what is your role after you've won the title? So you are now, the MSSK. What is your role then? Is it just winning and enjoying the win?
No. My role is actually to be an ambassador to my country. Yeah, to help in any way I can, any possible way I can. That's my role.
Okay. Watching also, to just go back to what's unfolding, the crisis in your country, in as far as family and relatives are concerned, do you still have people that are trapped there, and what are some of the experiences they share with you, what's happening, and are you able to communicate with them?
I have uncles and some of my aunties were in Bor. We actually lost communication because of the network and all that. So we actually try to find out what's going on with them, but it's really hard to get to them, actually to reach them. So it's kind of hard.
Yeah. And do you think others, like the international community, are doing enough to help, to chip in, to help resolve this? Because it's a situation where we see it's concerned everybody around the world, but in terms of the work that's being done to ensure it's resolved, do you think enough has been put in place?
Okay, I think they're trying the best. We can't actually judge, but we saw like the Ugandan troops flew in to get to South Sudan. I think that's a good gesture for starters. So, and the UN also are trying to help the people, the elderly people, and the people who are injured and all that. So I think the world is actually trying to help us. Yeah.
And initially there was all these conversations before the violence broke out from last year, around mid last year, about repatriation and just getting, the people, your countrymen and women back home. And there were varied opinions, with some saying it's being done too hurriedly, it should, be done slowly, and some were like, people should go back to their country to build it. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, my thought is I think it was hurried up, because as you see now what has happened, I think it was like a political thing, and then it emerged to an ethnicity group fighting and all that, So I actually think we should have been stabilized first before taking our people back to our country, because now people who are there, who went there as refugees, are back to where they were. Others are in Uganda, others are in Kakuma. Yeah, so it was done too fast, I guess.
If you were to sit down now and talk to your leaders, the president, the political, the various players in this particular violence, what would you say to them?
Politicians should firstly think of the citizens first, before they do any move or do anything. They should first think of the citizens that they're governing. So what I would actually urge them to do is, in whatever decision they're making, think first of the citizens before doing a political riot or something like that.
Yeah. And I think that's a perfect message, because it's really does boil down to the people. And to your fellow South Sudanese that are in the country, you've talked about many have had their hopes, their dreams for South Sudan, the things that want to see happen there to do, but that has always been put on hold because of the violence that's going on. Also, what is that message of perhaps encouragement in as far as not losing sight of the dream is concerned?
Yeah, our elders way back, they fought for our country, and here we're like the youngest in the world, So I think they should have hope that one day we're gonna be in our country, we're gonna be free and all that. So the main thing I should tell them is just keep calm and hope. One day we'll be in our country.
You miss home?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming and catching up with us. Akuanya Yuan. We appreciate you spending time with us this morning.
Thank